y'all? We're doing episode 4. We're doing open guard, passing open guard, or shot, and I'm here with my partner Anthony, who's really good open guard. Alright, so Anthony, you play open guard, you're just seated like you are. So one of the easy ones that I like, you just come in and this is if they're not really heavy on their feet, but they're heavy on their butt. You just invert them all the way over to turtle, and then you can start working top turtle like we did, I think, in episode 1. So come in, boom, lift them up, and then you got top turtle. You can work it however you want. A lot of times they'll resist, so give me a little bit of resistance. So boom, just muscle it. It don't matter. But the second one is if they don't let you invert them all the way to turtle. A lot of times you can get stuck right like here. And this is just like inverted guard. And if you're stuck here, what I like to do is get a shin over a near leg, and I can come over here. This is just passing inverted guard ground. So anyone inverts on you, I like to staple one leg to the ground and start working for a cross face with the other arm. And this arm is going to underhook this leg. So you can start from the cradle. I'm not trying to put too much pressure. I can tell I'm splitting the legs apart. So I'll go a little gentle. I'm not going to lock this up. You could maybe some here. Let's see. So no slip. But now I'm going to start switching my legs. Boom. I still got my cradle. And then the other leg pops out. Once that pops out, you have your side control with the cradle. You can take it off whenever you want, or you can keep it if you like the cradle. And you can take your time there, like they're gonna get smashed. And when they explode to get out of that situation, then you can progress. But until then, take your time. They're the one who's in pain. Alright, so let's say you couldn't invert them so that their butt is lifted up into the air, but I still made his back hit the mat. So I pick it up, I make his back hit the mat, and that's all I get. So now it's pretty much like an open butterfly guard. There's a couple passes you can do here. Let's see, you go over there. One simple one is just karate chop here, push down, plant. And we did this, so we did something yesterday. I'll add that actually. The one that I like to do once I plant this down is just jump to north-south. But another one we went over is once you step here, if you want, you could walk back. Switch your hand from planting this down to the ground to here and walking this way. And go for a cradle. The other option, if they're in this position, instead of planting this down and walking around, you're gonna basically go through him. And if this is comp, I don't think you'll get DQ'd for going straight into the middle. He's gonna have to shift his hip one way. But to be nice, I'll come to a side. You're gonna staple the knee down, and then you're gonna have a knee slice. We can cover, I think, knee slice in the closed guard series. But for now, we'll just call this an entry to the knee slice position. Alright, so if you don't want to put your hands down and you want to do more, those are more, I would say, smashy, because you're going to put some weight on them. Like when you do this, let's say I'm doing this one, I'm not going to come back up, resist a little. It's not going to move. You're going to have to really plant this down and, have your way with them. Which means if they're like heavier, for example, it might be a little hard to do that. So we got some options if you want to move more and smash less. Alright, so I got a knee injury, so in my notes I put knee slice to the right. Actually come up. This is if I couldn't move him at all, So his legs are not planted. He's really heavy on his feet. So in my notes, I was gonna cut to the right. I wanna see if I can. Let's see. You come here. So he's heavy now on his legs. All you have to do is penetration step over the ankle. So that's why I call it a shallow penetration step. And if he doesn't react, just tackle. And now you got a cradle. And why would he not react? He would not react if he's being super heavy on his feet. And give me a thumbs up, you are recording, right? Okay, just make sure. Yeah, I don't got this. Thank you. Alright, so let's say I did that shallow. So he's heavy on his feet. Do that shallow cut. Come over here, right? And as I'm trying to tackle, he turns towards me. Like, no. He drops towards me. Yeah. So let's do that again. Because this guy's content on playing like bottom jiu-jitsu. So instead of coming up, he's cool with coming down into like trying to set up a half guard niche or something like that. If this happens, I would keep using the momentum because I just did a penetration step to this side and follow it with my left hand to try and catch the head. At the same time, you already had a hand on this foot because first we were here. This hand is the one that's going to move, the one on his my left hand. As I shoot, I'm going to try and grab his head. I'm still keeping this, and then I'm going for a cradle. And then you can try passing with the cradle. And what I like is, once you have this initial lock around his head, that's setting up a mounted guillotine. But we're not going over that now. We did that in the Top Turtle series, episode 1. Alright, so if he drops down like before, boom. If you plant this leg to the ground, you can do the pass where you go for north-south just like before. And here I'm kind of setting up you have a north-south choke, or I was just trying to walk back to mounted guillotine. Or if you want to grab the top leg instead, and you can staple that down, just cartwheel over. Now he's likely, in both scenarios, if he's about to get past, try and play turtle. So I'm pushing him down this way, so he can just keep coming this way. So come up. So now he's playing turtle, and if he does that, just start working turtle. If you want, you can go to the back, but however you want. Same deal when you come over to the other side. So boom, and you're gonna keep coming this way because I pulled you this way. You're gonna use the momentum to keep going. And now you got top turtle. So you gotta watch episode 1 to remember that if they turtle up on you, you should be happy because you have so many moves to do from there. Oh. Alright, so the other option, or the other scenario, is when you slice over and they're facing you, and you plant this down, you're gonna go to turtle, right? Go to turtle, but keep going. And now you're in the same scenario you were a second ago, so you just keep working it. So just be prepared to chain the attack. So it's a very movement heavy drill, so it's really good against big boys. Because you're just going to keep moving and they're just going to have to keep moving with you, and hopefully you're going to gas them out pretty soon. Because you should have more endurance than a big boy. So another one that I like, if he's in this position. So a second ago we were doing, you grab the ankles, or you can come down and knee slice or penetration step. If you don't actually want to go down, I don't know, maybe you're kind of big, heavier than that person, or you're just like a really big person, it feels like too much movement to bend over and penetration step. You can use your right leg to step next to his outside leg, and I'm gonna drop my lat onto his face. So, bam. And here I was doing a little light, but you can be pretty heavy with it. You wanna get heavy because he's gonna try and back roll, and if he back rolls, he can try and sweep you. And then, if you can, just turn back into him, we'll go to north-south. Or, another one that I like to secure the position, I pull the near leg towards me and hook it. And hook it with my arm too, and now you're going to start the bend split class. So you can do that however you want. That was on, I believe, stand-up part 2, or stand-up part 1. So I was saying you just step over, move a little bit here. Just step. But if you want to be mean, you can kick and try and move him. Now if you move him like that, so let's say he's a little weak, so don't resist me. You can just tackle. So when you kick, you're essentially going to let yourself fall into a tackle. But I don't want to do that right now. I might put too much weight on him. And if he's really weak, you can try and get behind him. So that's like north-south. And it's not really that they're weak, it's more like they're more in a mindset of being prepared to roll. So earlier they were heavy on their butt, then feet, but some people aren't even heavy. They're prepared to try and move, to try and roll. So that's the type of person that will end up moving all the way around, and so you have to jump on them in north-south, otherwise if I kick and he moves and collects guard again, well, let me do a light one. So, boom, and then he collects guard again. There was a moment I could have jumped over, and he lost a really nice opportunity. So you got to be prepared to move if you're going to go for the kick, and they move. But also when they do come back, like you just did, so if he comes back, my foot is still pretty much angled where I want it to be, unless they come back all the way up. If he comes back to that position, you're down on the ground, you just start doing the other stuff. But if you decide to come back up, your foot's already in position so that when he comes back up, so start coming back up, you're going to drop on him into reverse kesegatame. So everything is pretty much a combination of all the techniques. Like if someone saw you land one of the passes, it was really, you went for all the passes at the exact same time. That's why it looks so scrambly. Now let's say he's just strong, and that's not a bad thing. So he's planted and I kick and he doesn't move. So he moves, don't move. So he literally doesn't move. He's like a statue. Usually when they're like a stiff statue, that's the best time to use movement. So that's when I would try and go for like cartwheel pass. So I'll just jump over. And if he's really stiff, like he let go. So let's say you stay stuck here, you're gonna have a top sit out type scenario. So that's against like people who are a little stubborn and like bracing and being a statue. You don't have to crush through it, you can just move around it. And yeah, so if they don't react, you're gonna have top sit out, and if they do fall back, you're gonna have top north south. You can get there another way too. So a lot of times if they're being real strong and stubborn, and let's say you don't want to go down low to attack the legs, what I like to do is get a collar tie, and Against most people, you should be able to crunch their head down if you just drop. And now you're going to try and attack something on this side with your free hand, so either the wrist or the leg. And as you're pulling it down, you're going to use the momentum to cartwheel over. And if he doesn't react, you have top sit out. But if he ends up falling back while you did that, you can have pin top north south. So the last one that I like is if you're gonna go for double collars or Muay Thai plum. Now you go down. So boom, boom. And if you're able to really bring his head down low, you keep one hand, let's say my left hand, over the top, and you pull it towards your armpit as this hand switches to a guillotine. And then you can run the guillotine however you want to run it. So, for example, you gator roll, or you could try and use it as a pass. So if you're doing the RNC guillotine, I'll start going for a gator roll motion. And he didn't gator roll with me, so that time he got choked out. But let's say you don't want a gator roll, so you can go for a cement mixer instead. So you go for underhook deep on this side, and you start walking to the side, and you use the arm that's under him to pull him into your own arm. And then if he decides to fall back on the Muay Thai plum, so if he's falling back, so you start falling back, I'm going to try and get my knees in the inside of his knees, so that as he starts falling back, I'm just going to start riding him towards a top butterfly mount, and then from there, hopefully you can start securing mount. But okay, that's passing open guard. That's what I like to do. So if you learned something, give me a like. And next one should be cake trap. Thank you.